Yes, Mr. Nishal Suredu, moderator. Mr. Rory James, Managing Director, Transport Events Management. Mr. Guillaume Huguenin, President, Mauritius Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mauritius. Mr. Ken Punusamy, the Acting Chief Executive Officer, Economic Development Board of Mauritius. Mrs. Katija Zirali Klakan, Managing Director, Mauritius Limited, Mauritius Seychelles Comoros. Distinguished participants, colleagues to the ports and maritime community. Ladies and gentlemen, warmest welcome to all of you. On the occasion of the opening of this webinar, organized in partnership with the Transport Events Management, representatives from ports within the Southern African Development Community region are presenting online the strategies and new prospects for port development in Africa in the 21st century. At the very outset of my intervention, I would like to convey my warmest thanks to the Transport Event Management for this initiative. The COVID-19 pandemic has affected millions of people worldwide, and to contain the spread of this virus, governments the world over have imposed various measures which have been restricted movement of people and goods across borders. Some ports of entry was closed, and only limited types of goods were initially allowed across the few open borders. Skeleton staff reported for duty, more controls for COVID-19 prospective equipment, and medical supplies were introduced. Health checks from cross-border crews are now mandatory, and many other measures which vary from one country to other have been adopted. All the Southern African Development Community members also introduced some measures to minimize the spread of the COVID-19 virus. However, the introduction of these measures have had, unfortunately, adverse effects on the trade facilitation in the SADC region. The World Trade Organization has predicted a decline in consumer spending due to COVID-19 that will decrease international trade by up to 30%. This will have far-reaching effects on export-dependent African economies. However, in the wake of COVID-19, ports will become the core of Africans' economic recovery and growth. Even before the global COVID-19 crisis, ports authorities worldwide were under pressure to increase efficiencies, reduce environmental impacts, and enhance the facility's security. However, the pandemic has now made the effective functioning of ports a matter of national security. With rapid and more accessible technological advances and innovation has come the development of smart ports. A smart port is one that uses automation and new technologies such as artificial intelligence, big data, Internet of Things, and blockchain to improve its performance. What is holding back our sea trade success, ladies and gentlemen? The primary challenges shared by most African ports are long cargo clearance times, underdeveloped basic port and internal infrastructure, usage of outdated equipment, and low levels of automation and container and cargo theft. To help address some of these challenges, global donor organizations are funding the development of various African trade corridors. This is witnessed the significant investments that are going into port infrastructure capacity, expansion, including deepening of access channels and widening of basins. Infrastructure investment is, however, only one piece of the puzzle required for the handling of more cargo in a more efficient manner. The key to efficiency is therefore for ports to do more with their existing resources, particularly those focused on moving cargo. By optimizing the utilization of these resources, ports will not only improve their cargo throughput, but also become more profitable. According to SAP Global Performance Benchmarking, ports that leverage technology to drive productivity improvements have a 36% higher operating margin than their peers. As an example, in Asia, where ports are largely automated, the turnaround time of vessels can be as little as 7 hours. You imagine, compared to 5 days average for an African port. Cargo vessels can also spend a full month longer in an African port than they would be in Asian equivalent. One of the key differentiating factors of leading global ports is the extent to which they have adopted emerging technologies. I have no doubt about it. For example, Internet of Things driven smart logistics platform, advanced analytics solutions that manage container theft, predict the failure of key equipment and reduce downtime. In real time, thereby increasing port throughput and protecting profit margins. By contrast, outdated technology and manual processes remain a burden for African ports, with most operators still relying on aging equipment, disparate systems, and a siloed approach to handling core processes and operations. So let us think about how we are going to move forward for African ports. To address the challenges and overcome some of the prevailing inhibitors to the success and growth, African ports must embrace various technologies to achieve performance improvements realized by their counterparts in other geographies. In pursuit of such performance excellence, African port authorities have identified two top-level goals: increasing port throughput and improving terminal operations. To increase port throughput, port authorities are considering ways to accelerate the flow of goods through their port by reducing congestions in the value chain, by leveraging hub logistics, transportation management solutions, and connected warehouse offerings. Port authorities can accelerate the rate of information exchange across multiple stakeholders in the port value chain and unlock the ability to conduct real-time performance monitoring of key assets. This enables them to track profitability at an asset level, enabling them to identify potential new business opportunities. To improve now terminal operations, African ports need to adopt automation as a means of standardizing and simplifying port operations. In addition, these ports require a centralized approach to managing processes, enabled by the single platform for all automation efforts. This will allow them to handle unusual circumstances by preempting potential business by disruption, recommending remediation actions, and facilitating communication between stakeholders across the port value chain, with no duplication of efforts or messaging. Let us now come about the port risk harbor, how we are going to meet the urgency of the challenge. Port risk harbor lies at the very core of the national logistical system, handling about 98% of the country's trade routes. Since the onset of COVID-19, the MPA has been working closely with its stakeholders and government agencies in taking all necessary precautionary measures to protect the port and the maritime workforce, including crew members. Building resilience through transshipment. Despite the challenges, the MPA is managing the COVID-19 impact in the face of the external shocks with some key strengths, which should help in weather the worst of the storm. In line with the economic recovery plan of the government, the MPA is gearing itself to explore all opportunities to bounce back as a vibrant port-centric logistic cluster. Given that Mauritius is heavily dependent on imports and exports, the resulting slowdown in economic activities worldwide has induced a decreasing pattern in captive traffic. Hence, the need is felt to consolidate Port's position as a container transit hub. Secondly, we are moving towards consolidating the seafood sector. The MPA is playing an important part in consolidating the seafood sector by helping to attract investors and creating additional employment in that sector. Seafood activities have significant potential for growth and development, particularly considering the available port infrastructure is generally sufficient to support such further growth. Port Harbour has modern logistic facilities, including a state-of-the-art core rooms, processing units, as well as fishing quays and other port-related activities. There is a window of opportunity to reposition portways as a new frontier for seafood development projects through more flexible and attractive public-private partnership programs. Against this background, and in line with the recommendation of the Port Master Plan 2016, the MPA is proceeding with the construction of fishing port and a breakwater structures at Fort William, with a view to providing a tranquil basin to ensure a sheltered and safe mooring place for approximately 120 fishing vessels. The MPA could be investing in the project using its own funds for the development of the sheltered mooring basin and service quay of 50 meters. Tenders for the construction of the fishing port estimated 1.5 billion rupees could be launched in the first quarter of this year. The performance now regarding the navigating of the cruise challenge. The performance of the cruise segment at ports are not being really affected by the present cruise season, ended just at the beginning of the pandemic outbreak. However, the future of this sector remains uncertain and will depend on scientific measures that will be taken by the World Health Organization and the World Tourism Organization. Current indications suggest that cruise ships will continue to have a demand for their services. According to the latest forecast, some cruise liners are upbeat about the future. The general easing of coronavirus-related restrictions will enable many cruise ships to end their forced hibernation soon. The promotion of the Indian Ocean region is at the heart of the mission of the Ports Association of the Indian Ocean Islands, of which I'm the current chairperson. We want to make the Indian Ocean region as an attractive zone while enhancing the quietness, the uniqueness of the Indian Ocean Islands as the preferred cruise destination. The PAIOI projects resolve around the themes of training, safety, and security within ports, but also cruise tourism, which is an important field of cooperation between among the various port authorities. In this perspective, we are leveraging on the attractions of our islands to make of the Indian Ocean region a preferred and safe cruise destination, and regional port authorities are encouraged to harmonize their infrastructure and services provided to cruise vessels. To achieve this objective, the Ports Association of Indian Ocean Islands has initiated a pre-feasibility study for the development of cruise in the islands of the Indian Ocean. The study is co-financed by the Interreg program of the European Union and the Agence Française de Développement to the tune of 350,000 euros. The purpose of this study is to assess the potential of the cruise market in the Indian Ocean, to identify the marketing position of the islands in the cruise sector, and to standardize the reception of cruises by identifying the infrastructure needs of each port in the region. After the first phase of the study on the 28th January 2020, the second phase of the cruise study began on the 12th February 2020. At a meeting of the steering committee on the 12th October, the Council presented the three possible scenarios for the development of cruises in the Indian Ocean. The first point, investment model, full embracing of cruise industry with high investment for rapid growth. Secondly, essential model, essential and surgical works in line with new approach, mainly towards niche vessels. Thirdly, maintenance model, maintain the status quo, but repair what is broken or not functioning properly. Now the consultant is focusing on the third phase of the project, which will also comprise a section on the unprecedented impact of the global COVID-19 pandemic on the cruise industry in the Indian Ocean region. And we're expecting the recommendation very soon. The MPA, regarding the digital port industry platform, the NPA retained the services of Vistacom Communication Limited to launch a digital port industry platform equipped with interactive features. This platform will boost opportunities for the port and business community while transforming the port industry with enhanced communication services. In addition, this digital platform would no doubt unfold new opportunities, fostering the visibility, audibility, readability, connectivity, interactivity, and interoperability of the port harbor. This project could revolutionize the port, shipping and maritime sector in Mauritius and the region. It could be an excellent gateway to promote flows of information and enhance operational efficiency among the various port stakeholders, thus creating opportunities to improve productivity, performance, growth, and profitability. This platform would serve as an effective communication tool, highlighting, amongst others, the current development initiatives, potential investment opportunities in the port sector, and would no doubt be a valuable resource to port users, international agencies, and businessmen, both local and foreign. The platform with interactive features would help to boost vital stockholder communications, as well as rally all the private and public sector players in our industry and will become operational around March 2021.
Mr. Maistry, can I ask you to, you have a couple of minutes.
I'll try to respect the time allocated to me. I have only 2 points to raise.
Sure.
Right? With 30% of the world's remaining mineral resources and approximately 60% of the world's uncultivated arable land on the continent, Africa's relevance in the global food and resource transportation value chain is significant. The success of Africa's ports and associated transport networks is critical to Africa's conversion of economic potential to economic success. To adequately facilitate greater trade with the world, African ports need to embrace innovation, automation, and simplification. By investing in the right business solutions that offer hand-to-hand transportation management, connected warehouse management, vessel and container track and traced, and inter-area, improved hub logistics, African ports can take a step closer towards enriching the continent. Ultimately, With an exemplary planning and adaptive solutions, we must ensure that our port operations remain efficient and the facility will become more resilient. Demonstrated experience during the time period will be useful for future scenario planning, especially with the onset of the more frequent extreme weather events, such as high winds, speeds, swells, and flooding. Preparedness with organization and robust governance with flexible future-ready system will improve to our stakeholders that we have inbuilt adaptive capacity and can demonstrate tangible resilience. One thing is certain, COVID-19 is going to make the SADC more resilient if the next level of planning, we can address climate change concerns in a sustainable manner. We will be making great strides towards becoming future ready. Dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to conclude by saying that I'm confident that the issues to be discussed during this webinar would shed light on so many issues facing ports in SADC region. I'm sure that all the participants will find the presentations and mutual discussions both interesting and illuminating. I sincerely hope that you use this opportunity to deliberate on the challenges in African ports and come up with valuable solutions. Thank you so much for your attention, and I'm quite sure that we are going to spend a very good moment during this webinar. Thank you for your attention.